Hello there. Thank you for joining me. So, last week we were talking about how we are addicted to technology and our phones, and how I went swimming with my kids and saw everyone sat on their phones. And it was amazing to bring that out because so many people related to that conversation we had last week and said, yes, oh my gosh, I'm noticing it myself. And there was also lots and lots of advice as well from people. So thank you so much. There was lots of advice about putting your phone on airplane mode. So if you want to just go out for a walk and avoid all the distractions, but you need your phone with you, all these amazing tips for using technology in a healthy way. And it was great to see. And I think that's what I want to just recap from last week and say that there's nothing wrong with social media, and it brings lots of good things when we use it well and we use it properly and we use it to our advantage. And I think that's what it's all about, and that's what I think we all started to realize last week, is it has lots of benefits, but it has big downsides. And it's recognizing whether it's bringing you joy or positivity, or whether it's having the adverse effect. And if it's having the adverse effect, it's about nipping it in the bud. So that being said, last week I took my sketchbook everywhere with me this weekend, and it was so nice to just reconnect with my books. And what I wanted to share today was just a process that I've been doing in my sketchbooks. And I just wanted to share that with you in case it helps you. Because what I do, and I've done a session before on sketchbooking, but if you're new around here, you might not have seen that video. So first of all, I highly recommend keeping a sketchbook, a journal, whatever you want to call it. And even if there's many ways that you can use a sketchbook. You know, you could use one to carry around. This is a bit big to carry around, but you can get real cheap, small little sized ones that you can carry around in your bag, where you can record ideas. If you've got an active mind like mine, you can just make notes of things or ideas and park it in your little traveling book. You can sketch on the move in your little book. Sharon's got one, my friend Sharon, and hers is like a tiny little square like that. It's so cute. Just about, I don't know, a couple of inches square. And she carries that one around and does tiny little sketches inside hers that she carries around. And then I have other sketchbooks that I tend to then keep by the side of the sofa. This one is a square sized, and I love this square sized because I never work square usually. And I have this square sketchbook by my side and in the studio, and I use it for just playing, just literally just playing, making notes, exploring ideas, and experimenting with no pressure on the outcome. And things that I pick up from other people, I just sketch things out and make notes. And then I've got other ones where it's probably more about, bigger scale, small scale, loads of different sizes, loads of different coloured papers. But it takes away the pressure of just always working on a finished piece all the time. But also, there is so much to be said for recording your ideas and stepping back from things and making connections as well. So I've just started this sketchbook, a new sketchbook in A4, which this might be a bit excessive for some people. But what I've started to do in this one is I backtracked, and I'm looking at my journey, my artistic journey, which is small because I only get a couple of hours each week to play around with my own art ideas. But what I've been doing is I've been looking back at the whole journey and looking at what images I chose as inspiration. I mind map a lot. So I have pulled out my mind maps from over the years and looked to see what things are still on my mind map, what has changed. And what I've started to notice by looking back over my experimental work and pieces and the colours, I've started to notice so much about myself, about how my work felt very, very unrelated, but it actually isn't. And I think it's just been so, so insightful to just start to see the art journey, but at the same time, annotating it. I write down how I was feeling. Why did I make this work? What was I reading at the time? What music was I listening to? I literally pour all of that out. It's like it's like therapy as well. Well, this is my therapy. I have to say, this is my therapy. But what starts to happen when you document things in this way, and if you went to art school, you're probably familiar with this because this is what you do at art school as well. You kind of annotate things, reflect on them, and it gives you so much insight about yourself as a person. So I have learned so much from this process over the weekend of looking and reflecting on all of this. I've started to realize that things in my art that I was drawing felt just like I was just drawing a leaf. It just felt like, oh, I just chose a leaf, and then the leaf kept coming up and up and up and up. And now, after reflecting, and it's taken me a long time, I realized that that was no coincidence. There was a reason the leaf kept coming in, and it related back to my times as a child when I had anxiety at school, because I can't process auditory. So when I was at school, if the teacher was speaking, I would have no idea what the teacher had said. And so at a very young age, at the age of 10, that's when my panic attacks started. And I hated going to school, because I was so frightened that the teacher was going to say, and what did I just say, Michelle? And I'd just go, I have no idea. And they were always shouting, like, are you paying attention? And it used to fill me with absolute fear. I was terrified. And still, that happens now. It's terrible. Like, I literally, if I go to conferences, even my daughter reading her story on a nighttime, it doesn't go in. It's really sad, but I've had to accept it now as an adult, that it's not the way I process information. And I sit every night thinking, I'm going to listen to my daughter. It's not that I don't listen, I listen, but the words just fall on deaf ears. And she's finished the pages, and I don't have the heart to say, sorry, I didn't process the story. And so this happened to me as a child, but I didn't know back then why. And I felt awful, and I felt like there was something wrong with me. And what I used to do as a child was draw the leaf, which you can see I'm surrounded by leaves because I drew the leaf pattern over and over and over again. And it was a way of, one, it was a way of feeling secure and feeling that it was my safety. It was drawing the leaf over and over again just made me feel relaxed. It was my escape and my distraction from the panic attacks that I was about to have. Also, someone said recently that sometimes if we draw it at the same time, we do listen better, but that didn't happen for me, but I'm sure it does work for some people. But it's quieting part of the brain down. And that was always my motif, was the leaf. And I'm guessing you all have your own motif as well that you drew as a child or still do. And this is what's incredible about keeping a sketchbook, because quite often, like, now I say this out loud, it's obvious. It was there all my life. But when I started to make art again and the leaf kept coming, I was like, that's really weird. Why do I keep drawing leaves? And why am I starting to paint them? I had no idea. And I was like, I just don't know why. And then it was like, the lights, someone turned the lights on for me through sketchbooking. This is where all these realizations come from. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that is why it's so significant to me. And now my leaves, which just felt like leaves before, have so much more meaning. And they made me feel that way. And they got me through school and all those horrendous times where I was having panic attacks. And so for me, I mean, I could literally go on and on and on about these realizations that I've had by reflecting at my work. Everything felt so unrelated, so random. And by sketchbooking and making notes of things, it's taken me a long time, but I have made massive connections between what I've been doing and what I've been taking photos of. And I'll just share a few other examples. So I used to photograph on the way to nursery to drop the kids off a wall that I passed every single day. And I was fascinated with this wall. I just loved it. I'd take a picture, even though I'd got loads of pictures already. And it had ivy going up it, and someone had removed the ivy, and it had this most amazing pattern left behind. But I didn't know why I liked it. I like pattern. So I was thinking, I just obviously like the pattern, but I just felt obsessed by this wall. And then another similar realization. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I've actually got the original. This is a coaster that's made of glass. So I've got a coaster that's made of glass, and there's a photograph inside. And one day a drink got spilt onto the coaster, and it left the most amazing marble pattern. And there's a little bit of the photograph just peeping through. And I have loved this coaster so much. I love the happy accident and the patterns it left behind. But that coaster has sat with me for the last, I would say, 2.5 years, and has been in my studio following me around because I've just felt so connected to it. But I couldn't again think, it isn't just the pattern. What is it? Anyway, to cut a long story short, by keeping my sketchbook, by reflecting back, by keep questioning, but why are you with me? What is it about you that I really, really love? Really, I've been on this amazing journey, this artistic journey of gathering. And now I've realized that none of this is a coincidence. All of these little connections and photographs that I've been taking are born from this one place of curiosity about imprint. And it's just crazy. And it's like so exciting to now finally start to put all these pieces together about myself as a person, but also the art that I want to make and the direction I want to take it in and the things that I want to explore. So for me, this documenting this process is just so incredible. It's time consuming, but it's so incredible. And also what has come from this process. Like I said earlier, I document books that I'm reading, music that I'm listening to, things that I'm consuming. And what I've started to notice is that there are songs that I've listened to and I've really paid attention to the lyrics. And the lyrics are applying to the artwork that I'm making and the feelings that I have. And so now I'm pulling out little phrases from books and words, and they will make titles for artwork. So if you're ever stuck for a title, sketchbooking in this way and annotating and reflecting on your artwork brings so many more titles. And I've also now got titles before I've even got an artwork. I'm like, I definitely want to make an artwork based on this title. So I found it really, really, really inspiring. It's getting me really excited about making and the direction to take things in, but also the revelations that you have, which often are so obvious. When you have them, I'm like, how did I not see this? It just makes total sense. Like, yeah, of course, this is what I like and why I like it. And I know Sharon, my friend Sharon, who I talk about a lot, she sketchbooks all the time and does the same process. And I know that she has the same revelations in her own life as well. And she said to me recently that through her sketchbooks and musing and reminiscing, she's started to notice things from her childhood that influence her work now. And she said, "I can't believe I've never noticed that before. Can't believe I've never realized that all these like mechanical dolls and mechanical things around her home were always around. Her house was full of them." And she's got a fascination with, joints and the way things move. And bringing that to the surface, she said it just made her realize, wow, this is why I keep doing these things. So sometimes it's just an acknowledgement like, this makes sense now. But also it's bringing it to the surface. And now she's exploring it further. And it has more meaning because she's relating it to something. So this is quite deep. It's quite deep. But I think there's so much to be said for the things that we do, and sometimes they feel so random or so unrelated to anything, but quite often there's stuff under the surface that isn't so random, and bringing them into a sketchbook, I think, really helps you shine a light and make connections between things that you've never done before. And I think as a person, it's so enlightening to see. So I highly recommend you start doing that. And it's been great for me. I've got really excited. It takes a long time. I will just say as well that this process in here and me making all these connections has taken months, in some cases years. Like there's some things that I'm realizing about myself that were happening more actually 10 years ago in my artwork, but I had no idea why I was making that artwork back then. And I've just realized 10 years on that, oh my gosh, that's why I was making that artwork. And that is also a big realization that as artists, as creatives, it's a massive journey that we're all on. It's a way of us exploring our world and our feelings and our experiences and making sense of how we feel and see and what's going on around us. And that's an ever evolving journey. And this is why I love art so much, because it really enables us to see inside ourselves and to understand others. I did a session last week in our makers area, and we had a guest, Dorota. She joined us and she did this amazing exercise where we were drawing our brains, the activity in our brains, and I was drawing mine and understanding right in front of my eyes my son. Like I instantly started to see my son's brain and the way he's struggling right now at school. He's crying to me because he said, I can't work as fast as everybody else, and I'm sitting there trying to glue things. And he said, and then everything's moved on to the next thing, and he was crying his eyes out this morning. And when I did the drawing last week and I started to map out this brain, I started to see my son and I felt this connection. And that's the power of art. It's like, it's amazing. I mean, it's just incredible. It's incredible, incredible, incredible. So I've just woke up feeling very grateful to have art in my life today. And I want to share that. I know you all will understand this and the power it has for us to understand ourselves and be kind to ourselves through art as well. And I want to share that because if you're creating pieces and you're getting so angry at every piece because it's not the way you want it to look, and you're looking at it as a finished piece all the time, and oh, it's just awful because of this, you're missing this process of learning about yourself and being kind to yourself and understanding why you're drawn to certain things and how that relates to your life. And so enjoy the process. It's not always about the finished piece. It's about the journey as well, and enjoying that journey and sketchbooking it right down everything that you're feeling, seeing, music, work, inspiration, and make it about the process as well as just you judging yourself on a finished piece and how good or bad you are as a person. So they're my tips for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to check the comments now and check in with you all. Lovely to see you all here. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. Colin's got the sun. Amazing. It's supposed to be a special moon I saw as well on Wednesday. Somebody sent me a poem this morning and said that it's a flower moon, or I think a flower moon. So it's a special moon on Wednesday. So I am really intrigued by the moon. Yay, happy, ready for a new week being creative. Yes. Oh, you've got your water wings on. I love how we all check in with the weather. I love it. Hey, Freddie, nice to see you. Nice to see you here. Everyone's tuning in about the weather. I love it. Oh, that's a great one. We need a post to see what the latest page in the people's sketchbooks are. Great one, David. I'm going to write that down. That's a really good idea. Yes. That's brilliant. Hello, Tracy. You've had a deadline for Open. Oh, I remember being at the Open University. Hope you got it all in on time. Excessive. No, I do things too extreme. Yeah. Just take what I say with a pinch of salt. Oh, it's lovely to see you all here. Hey, last week I was active on social media, but I scaled it down tremendously. Yes, I actually feel like a happier person. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well done. I was going to check in with everyone and say, how did you get on this week after last week's conversation about tuning out? Did you manage it? Did you track your time? I started tracking my time and still just kept going for that that damn phone. Oh, hey, Angie. Oh, yeah, carrying the right pens. I mean, yeah, I need to invest in some better pens. I was thinking that this weekend, but good old biro or whatever you've got, that's what I ended up using. And actually, David, who's on now, shared a piece of artwork when we had a critique session this last week, and his whole artwork was in biro and it was incredible. So yeah, but I know it's not for everyone. Hey, James. New here. Brilliant that you're discussing sketchbooks. I just bought one yesterday. Amazing. Aren't we in tune? As I'm planning to try portrait sketching for the first time. Oh, amazing. Are you in our virtual art studio, James? Because there's lots of support in that free group if you've just found us. Hello. Yes, no right or wrong. A sketchbook, anything goes. It's so right. Yeah. Oh gosh, Nish. Yeah, I was the same back then. The teachers took no notice. Yeah. Yeah, I had a horrible time at school. And then the bullying. It's awful. Sorry to hear that, Nish. But sounds like there's a lot of us here that have gone through the same thing. I think our brains are wired differently, but bring so much good as well. Oh, Sandra, what I hear, I forget. What I see, I remember. What I do, I understand. I don't know the author of this, but it's so true for me. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And we're all so different. We all process information in different ways. And that's the biggest gift, isn't it? Is understanding how we work. It's been the biggest gift for me anyway, is understanding how I work and just doing more of that. instead of going against the grain, which is what I was doing before, going against the grain and going against the way my brain works. Oh, that's nice. Hearts and flowers. That's lovely. Yeah, trees and eyes. Isn't it funny? Yeah. Oh, me, patterns. Yeah, surfaces and patterns, textures. Love it. I love walls and textures and spillages. I'm always taking photos of them too. We're all in good company, aren't we? I love it. I've just checked my bag and I only have 15 pens in it. 2 pencils. I just imagine you, David, with your bag full of the art stuff. Hey Laura, nice to see you here. I've never had a sketchbook, although I always kept some kind of diary, but with words and very little of anything else last week. I watched an old video from last month, I think, of you and Sharon about mind mapping. Yes, and that inspired me to start a sketchbook and also decide that doodling while studying with my son would be beneficial to both of us. Yes, do it. I love mind mapping. And so yeah, this is one of the mind maps where you can print out pictures as well. It's all a bit off focus, isn't it? But this was the oh, this isn't the wall, but this was another wall. This was a wall that this one is from about February 2020, and there was this picture of a wall, and I didn't know why I liked it. It was on there, and I was like, "What? Why have I put that on my inspiration board?" I was like, it just stood out to me, and I just had no idea why, out of all the images in the world, I chose this one with graffiti and a tree in front of it. So I just had to sit with that for a while and just think, no idea, no idea. So I just put building. um, and I just sat with that for a while, and it's taken me a whole year to realize why that image is on my vision board. And it's come from being on this journey of self-discovery and questions and pondering and writing and sketching, and Sharon, my friend Sharon, just saying to me one day when we were doing all the Kickstart Your Art challenge not long ago, she said, it seems like you're interested in imprint. And when she said it, it didn't really resonate. And I went off and Googled imprint. And then I was like, oh my goodness me, imprint. And then I realized that's why I was drawn to this, because the graffiti, it's about things having an imprint left on something else. And oh my gosh. And that one word that she said to me now has opened up so many doors, but also realizations. And not just about my art, about me as a person, about how I struggle to let go of things. Things leave an imprint on me, and I struggle in that way sometimes to let things go. So it's been eye-opening on all levels. It's like free therapy. It is free therapy. But yeah, that's great, Laura. I love it. Yeah, I do this all the time with music. Most of my illustration is based around music. Oh, my signature seems to be pathways and stone walls, especially on the walks. I love it. Yeah, happy accidents and seeing all the interesting designs, patterns that emerge. Personally, I find if you sit with the designs, I get lots of synchronicities in nature designs on vans. Yeah, it's great when you start seeing and noticing. And I think that's another thing with this process, is that you start to notice things more because you're making connections. So it's, yeah, nothing's random. Depends how you want to go. Yeah, and I guess we don't have to understand everything. Sometimes it's okay to just be spontaneous and do something without overthinking it. But yes. Alison, yes, said, I started sketchbooking again about 4 years ago when I broke my ankle and I was stuck on the sofa. It made such a difference having somewhere to play and put anything and everything down on paper. I've got 4 books on the go just now, all for different things, and I love them. Yeah, there are different ways of using them. And so one other one is I use one as well for, it's like having a bank of, it's like a recipe book. So because I feel that we all have our own language inside of us. Art is a language, and what we start to do as we practice more and more, like we've been saying here, the leaf motif is something that I'm drawn to, and someone else is saying that they like hearts, and this is what you start to notice about yourself, is that you'll have your own kind of like bank of marks or shapes or things that you're drawn to that store inside your mind. And when you keep a sketchbook, you can keep practicing this, build a recipe book, so you've got it to draw upon, which color mixing in there and mark making that you're drawn to, or if something works really well, like a shape or the way you've drawn the leaf, for example, I always pop that in my sketchbook. Like, why did I like that leaf? It might seem insignificant, but this is what grows your voice as an artist. So yeah, and don't be afraid as well to just make it personal. And I used to be scared to show people my sketchbooks because this whole fear of being judged and like, oh, people are going to think it's so rubbish. But it's your process, and it doesn't have to be, anything to impress anybody else. It's literally your brain in a book, the way you see and feel. So hey, Kate. Kate's new here as well. Welcome, Kate. I have lots of messy sketchbooks and I've been scribbling all weekend. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Hey, Abigail, how often do you do an inspiration board? So I make one every single year. So that's just a given. And then throughout the year, what I tend to do is definitely one again in 6 months. But if I'm starting to think that I'm having like loads of realizations all of a sudden. So I did one in January, and it's specifically for art. So the one I do in the beginning of the year usually is about my life and everything and my vision. But I do one specifically for art as well. But what I found was by the end of February, I was having huge, massive revelations, and things were moving quickly in terms of what I was realizing about my art. So then I did another one, and I tend to quickly just do smaller ones in my sketchbook. And then if there's something major, then I'll do a big one where I'm pulling out images. And so, yeah, whenever I think as you get going, you'll just go, oh my God, it's time for a mind map. But yeah, Chantel, yeah, digital's fine as well. As I've really have never enjoyed writing. Yeah, it's different again, isn't it, with how we process information. And for some people, the writing doesn't work. So whatever way works for you. So I like that you've said that. So if it's digital, go digital. In fact, this is how excessive I am. Oh gosh, it's hard work being me sometimes. So not only have I written it all up into a book, I've also set up a private Instagram with no friends or followers, and I've been documenting things there as well. It's kind of like a duplication. I don't recommend that. That's me just being very, very excessive and controlling. I'm sure there's a reason why I did it, and it's going to end, leading to something amazing. But it's also a form of procrastination, I think. I have this, like, I have to have things in order, and I get really like, oof, if it's not. So, I love it. Sometimes when I hear a tune, it reminds me of a drawing or painting I was doing. Oh, that's so incredible. And likewise, when I look back at paintings, I remember the exact tune. So cool. So cool. Yeah, I have to say, that I think I may not also be able to process auditory. Yes. So it's really interesting, isn't it? And I think because with videos and when it's animated and someone's talking, um, it's easier. And I found that if somebody speaks visually, um, although saying this now, I'm going to contradict myself. If someone's like telling me a story and I can visualize it in my mind's eye, then I can usually take things in an auditory way. And but when my daughter's reading to me, I can't, and it's a story, but I can't visualize it. I can't take it in. So yeah, still haven't worked out that one about myself. But I know sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Majority of the time I can't, and it's nice now that I've just accepted that about myself, because I used to get really, really panicky about it and really depressed about it as well. Um, yeah, and it's all about sensory, isn't it? Um, Hi, Abigail. Yeah, I've just seen if you email support@unitedartspace.org, definitely. Yep. Drop an email to us. Julie, I love it. I was on too many webinars. Hubby was asking every night how many I'd been on. I've scaled down so much that I'm only on one a week now. That's good. I'm laughing because I've been there as well, where I've just been consume, 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 consume. And yeah, going back to what I was saying last week about just having those 3 people, and it sounds like you've got it under control now. Oh, you're from Dublin. My granddad was from Dublin. Oh, I love it. Pion, hello. I reminded myself to stop scrolling after your video. Tell myself, Michelle, tell you to stop after 3. Yeah, someone gave a great tip as well about the scroll thing, and I do this. So it's like you reward yourself with scrolling if you've done something that you needed to do. So say you block out 2 hours to get something done. Then at the end of the 2 hours, you're allowed 10 minutes of scroll time. And you put a timer on as well. And you've got 10 minutes to just scroll. I thought that was a great tip for those who still want to. I limit myself. I don't scroll every day. I've got like Fridays is a scroll day. And I will literally not scroll. I'll go into my social media, my groups and things like that. Because that to me is different. But just to scroll on other people, random things, I don't do that. That's only on a Friday. So that's how I work. Okay, right. I'm going to head, everybody. I'm going to head and wish you all a fantastic week. If you are a Hub member, we are going to be doing a review plan do session on Thursday. I can't believe we're through another month. And for the rest of you, I hope you have a wonderful week. And I will be back next Monday for some more chat. And have a wonderful one, everybody. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.